Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Schmidt Lavelle. My name is Tom Lavelle, and as always, I'm accompanied by Mr. Timothy Schmidt.
Whoa.
Not again. Oh, geez. Timmy, I don't know why that always seems to happen, but it's not right. It's uncalled for. For all those people here booing, not on my watch. Get out of here.
What's that about?
I don't know. What the
You're
heck is
I mean, it's
yeah,
obvious that you're on the controls, Tom, and you're the one
what are
that's
you I would never. Come on. For Mr. Timothy Schmidt. Oh my God. That's ridiculous. Stop doing that, all right? Jeez. Man. All right. Well, we've got a great episode lined up for you today. My name is Tom Lavelle, and as like I said, I'm always accompanied by Mr. Timothy Schmidt.
well, that's one way to hold down your partner, huh?
Is that bad booking right there? Is
I
that
think so. I think so.
But we got a great episode lined up for you today, a lot to cover, but before we get into that, we want to thank you for listening. Everyone out there listening right now, we appreciate you listening. We just reached a milestone, Timmy. That's 400 followers on Instagram.
The big 400. Tom, I never thought we'd get there.
Me either. Who knew? Who knew back when we started this a couple months ago that we'd be at 400 followers on Instagram? It's like it's amazing.
Tom, the first 300 were easy. The last 100 were tough, but we pushed through. We got to a milestone, and looking forward to getting to the next 400, if you will.
Ooh, me too. And like we said, we appreciate you listening. If you're not already doing this, why don't you hit that pause button? Go give us a follow on Instagram. If you're not doing it, you can follow us on the TikTok. We're available on all podcast platforms and YouTube. We appreciate you. We love you. New episodes every week. We're trying to put out that sweet, sweet content that you're looking for. All right, Timmy, let's get to some of the comments from this past week. First, I want to talk about the Jeopardy versus Wheel of Fortune video that we put out. A lot of views, a lot of talk about that one. We got a comment from McFarland524 just saying Jeopardy. From Nikki Lavelle, she said The Price is Right wasn't an option, but hey, I love The Price is Right just as much as anybody. From Therapy with Sandy, she says, I hard disagree in that I said that people that were Jeopardy fans were bad people. She disagrees with that, Timmy.
They're usually the people that run the country, Tom.
Well, that might explain a lot of the problems, Timmy.
The Wheel of
So,
Fortune people vote. That's what the issue is.
so the Jeopardy people don't vote?
No, the Jeopardy people, they're in office.
They're in office.
Yeah, the people that the people that vote are on Wheel of Fortune.
Now, Timmy, that's an episode of Jeopardy I would watch. If they had the people that are in office play Jeopardy, like I'd like to see everyone from the House or everyone from the Senate. Let's have a Jeopardy tournament. Who is going to win the Jeopardy tournament? I'd like to see who would win. I think that's pretty interesting.
Oh, that'd be entertaining. You know, if we did that with the WWE, you know who would not win?
Becky Lynch. The lowest score, I believe, in the history of Jeopardy was 0 correct answers. Is that correct? Is that right?
That's accurate. And yeah, our favorite WWE female superstar, Becky
And while
Lynch.
we're talking about WWE, let's give a quick shout out to our other show, Jabroni Drive. If you're a wrestling fan and you're listening to this, go check out Jabroni Drive. We have big things coming up in Jabroni Drive in the next couple of months that we'll be announcing later on this week. Very excited about it. But if you're a professional wrestling fan, go check out Jabroni Drive.
Tom, real quick, if we get back to the task at hand, which the people were commenting on, and one of the commenters said The Price is Right. You have to include that in the top three because that's a GOAT. Bob Barker, right? All three shows, Bob Barker, Wheel of Fortune, Pat Sajak, obviously Alex Trebek at Jeopardy. Those were the three staples of game show television. And Obviously, Family Feud tried to sneak in there a little bit, right? And they had some crazy history with the host of that show. A lot
That's
of
right.
like suicide and like weird things that
Yeah. I
happened
want
with
to say
that.
like three of the hosts killed
Yeah.
themselves or something.
I think Richard Dawson was one of them, who was famous for being on MASH. And then Ray Pierce, I think his name was, or Ray something, Ray whatever.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the names are, but I know what you're talking about. I've definitely heard about that.
Steve Harvey, thankfully, still
I
with us.
love Steve Harvey.
But yeah, either way, Price is Right is definitely up there with the GOAT. Family Feud probably a distant fourth, but those are the three. Price is Right during the day, Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune at the end of the day. Watch that at the right after dinner. Settle in and watch those two shows and let
Well,
it
I think
rip.
that's why we brought up Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. We weren't saying that those were the best two. I guess you would say they're in the top three, but they're just, it's 7 and 7:30. Those are boom. When
On
are you
this
watching?
on the same channel, there's no like competitiveness there. Like they just right after each other. So it's great TV for an hour. So if you were a Jeopardy person or Wheel of Fortune person, you enjoyed both shows for an hour.
Yes. And so the superior one being Wheel of Fortune, but
Jeopardy.
we have let's move on to some more of our
What is
comment.
Jeopardy, Tom? What is
What
Jeopardy?
is Jeopardy? Can I buy a vowel? So let's get to the Is Die Hard a Christmas movie video? That was our most viewed video of the week. And we have from Franklin Parnell, hell yeah, it is. From All City Schmitty, it's not, but in the Christmas spirit, we'll throw it in. From I Am a Llama Works, technically you're right, but it's sort of a movie watched around Xmas time, so I vote yes. Timmy, we are going to be doing the list of the top 10 Christmas movies of all time. I think we agreed last week that will not be on our list, right?
Yeah, it's definitely off the list, but I will say that there's a thing that me and my girlfriend have right now. And from the time that we started dating, every time we threw the TV on just to watch a movie, Die Hard was on for some reason. So it's not just a Christmas movie. It's on all the time, which is great. I love watching Die Hard. You can pick it up whenever. Like it's one of the stick and click movies where you just throw it on and then boom, you know where you're at in the movie. You know what you're getting coming. Like there's things that you just know, right? Like
Right.
you know exactly what's coming and hey, it's going to entertain you. So I'm in on it.
Love the movie, just not going to be in my Christmas movie. So let's get to some of the comments from our Secret Garden commercial that we post. From Jimmy Barnhart 5874, Secret Garden hands down has the best Christmas trees and best prices in the neighborhood. Salute John Lynch. From Mr. Heastiff, shout out to John Lynch. Razorbacks for life, baby. I
What's that
guess
mean?
I don't know. We'll have to maybe when
Now
Heastiff
he
hears this, he can clarify. Was that like a football team, a baseball team, or something like that?
So here's one thing I bumped into Heastiff over the weekend, uh, also known as Harry Downey, also known as BB. He mentioned that him and John Lynch went to same high school together.
That
John Lynch
must
was
be it.
John Lynch was 2 years ahead of him. My parent apparently. I'm wondering if the Saul High School, if their nicknames were the Razorbacks.
Maybe. Does Saul have sports? Like, do they have like football team or baseball
No,
team?
they have baseball,
Huh.
but maybe that's what it is. So we need some clarification on that, BB.
We need some clarification and some more comments from Mr. Heastiff. Tommy, your Christmas interactions with your son are great. Last minute gift finding is an art form and not for the weak. The last time I went Christmas shopping with Timmy, he gave my boy Junk a new paint job.
The hell was that?
I don't know. That's what he said. Who's Junk?
That's John Alcavelli. It's our friend from a way back, local friend, right? Like
Yeah.
in the group, and haven't seen him in a while, but I don't know what he's referencing there.
New
Well,
paint job.
yeah, I don't know what that means.
Well, Merry Christmas, and I hope you like the paint job. All right. To the boathouse video that we put out where we talked about wing night, and let's get into we will be getting into wing night right now. Says from Jimmy Barnhart 5874, I would absolutely love to attend a wing night with the two of you. From Allison underscore Page, probably the most expensive wings though. Timmy, we talked about boathouse between me and you, and I don't know if you want to take the lead on this. You go ahead. You tell the people what we thought of Boathouse.
Okay, so the boathouse, in my opinion, and I've had this opinion for years, is the best wing in the tri-state area, hands down. There's no argument whatsoever. It was Tom's choice to go to the boathouse, I think.
We
I
were
said,
in between a place and then we ended up on the Boathouse. I remember
yeah,
that.
yeah. Because I already know what the boathouse wings are all about. Because I know they're the goat. They are, to me, the goat. And I wanted an unbiased opinion on them. That's
Yeah,
why,
you didn't say anything like that. You kind of just played cool, you didn't comment on them. And Timmy, can I say this? What was it? Like halfway through the first wing, I turned to you and said, "These are the best wings we've had by far."
yeah.
And not that
Well,
we've been to a ton of places yet, but I will be measuring all other wing places by the Boathouse from this moment on. They were that good.
yeah, and they are as advertised. And they don't even advertise as the best wing in the neighborhood or anything like that. Like the Boathouse for years has done this. Like they used to do buckets of wings where you would get your plastic bucket and it would say Flanagan's Boathouse on it, and like you'd take tons of wings home. Like, dude, wings used to be so inexpensive. And then COVID hit and things got a little crazy. And to Allison, what's her Renee
No,
Page?
Allison Page. Yeah, Allison underscore Page.
She's right. They are the most ridiculously expensive wings that you'll find in the tri-state area too, as well.
For those of you that didn't see the video, we posted a picture, a screenshot of the menu. The wings are $25 for a dozen. So that's over $2 a wing, which, when we were growing up, it wasn't even, you play, it's 10-cent wings when we were going out, but whatever. $25 now. The way to go, though, is what we did just
Yeah,
by chance. It was Wednesday, and they have Wing It Wednesday, where you order a pitcher of beer, you get an order of 10 wings with that. So a pitcher of beer was $20. You got a pitcher of and we had a good IPA, and 10 wings was $20.
yeah. So you can circumvent that whole process by going to Wing It Wednesday, which, yeah, we had a picture, I think, of some IPA. It was $21. So you get 10 free wings with it, um, which is fantastic. But I mean, do the math, right? Like
Yeah.
you're looking at, okay, so if you get a dozen wings, it's $25 without the pitcher. Something's off here, Tom.
Yeah, right.
Something's going on here.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I look, I'm not gonna sit there and dive into their costs per chicken wing or what that is or anything like that, but I know for sure it don't cost $25, yeah, to put out a dozen wings. There's plenty of examples across. I mean, even the three other places that we've done, I mean, that's the highest cost easily, by I think $5. Yeah, at any wing place that we've been to. So, if you want to get a wing, I would say go there. A great wing. You go there on Wednesday, you get a pitcher, you enjoy some beers, and you have some wings. And the cost obviously comes down big time, but I wouldn't suggest going there any other day than Wednesday because it's like crazy expensive, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hate to say that, but like if I'm being honest and I'm being critical about the boathouse, it's just their prices are just way too out of sync with like what's going on in the world today.
Yeah.
I mean,
25 bucks is a lot. And that's not to knock that we're just saying we love the wing. Best wings that we've had. we loved the service. The bartender was great. She was really cool. She started, she's now listening to the show. She says you're gonna check it out. Shout out to Son. She was, we saw our buddy's son there. We were talking to him. The staff came over. We heard a great story about Portnoy and how he gave money. We had great wings and it was cool. But you can't be doing $25 for an order of wings every day. So, but they
Yeah,
were
I mean,
great.
if you're the goat and that's what you want to charge, and so be it. But it's kind of a turn off for people that want to enjoy some wings and want to go out and have a good product. And look, the ambiance is fantastic though. It's a great sports bar. There's a TV for every seat. They have sports on all the time. There's a solid what's the golf game, the arcade,
Golden Tea.
golden. There's an awesome golden tea there. They have an upstairs seating, like there's a dining room, there's a nice bottle service bar, or I'm sorry, a 6-pack takeout
Yeah.
attached to the side of it too as well, which has great beer. And not to mention, in my opinion, they have the best selection of draft beers probably in the area. And I've been to a bunch of bars, but like they usually have some of the greatest beers on tap. They house main lunch. They do some other things from not main
Pliny the
lunch.
Elder was on there.
Pliny the Elder was on, and then they had stuff from Tired Hands. They
Right.
just have a lot of really, really good beers on tap. So I would go out and check it out. If you're a wing connoisseur, go on Wednesdays. If not, check out their beer selection. They usually have other good food there too as well. But that's my opinion on it. Just a little too expensive for my taste now. And look, they still have the greatest wing that I know in the tri-state area. So
Yeah, go check them out. Go on a Wednesday, wing it Wednesday. Say what's up to Son, our bartender that day, and tell him Schmidt Lavelle sent you. All right, let's get into a comment that I received, and this is more about the Christmas spirit in general. Okay, so my son, we went out, we bought a tree, as we talked about the Secret Garden and our comments from that, and where I went and got a tree. And then once again, shout out to the Secret Garden located next to Matthew's Beverage on Ridge Avenue. If you're going to buy a tree, that's the place to go. John Lynch will hook you up. Best trees, best prices. All right, so I got a tree. We bring it home, we put it up, we set up all the lights on it, the decorations, the star on the top. I have a lever that my son pulls. Boop, 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 and it lights up. It's a cool thing. He loves it. It's magical. So our one buddy loves Christmas, and I wanted to share this with him. My buddy that loves Christmas so much. Let me send him this video of my son lighting up the tree. I send the video over, wait for his response. Not too much later, I get this response. Listen, it's beautiful, but I have a real problem with the LED. It's just not Christmas looking. I love the tree. I love he's happy. I love you thought of me, but I fucking hate the LED color. It's just not right. Tim, what the fuck? Like, seriously, what the fuck is that? That's nuts. That's nutso stuff right there. Like, I send a video trying to, hey, let's get in the Christmas spirit. I know you love Christmas. We love blah, blah. He's got videos posted online. He goes through his whole apartment, whatever. Look at all these lights and a setup and the little, like, moving Mrs. Claus, or whatever the hell he's got. And that's all great. Cool. That's awesome. If he sent that to me, do you think I'd be like, look, that's nice and all, but it fucking sucks. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Am I nuts?
All right. So let me attack this thing without offending anybody here.
No, fuck him. That'll be the last Christmas thing I ever send him.
I guess he's not getting a Christmas card this year, huh?
Well, let me check it. Let me make sure all the color scheme on it is okay for Lord Christmas.
Look, Chris Kringle apparently resides at the house throughout the holiday.
Yeah.
Look, he's a passionate man. He loves his Christmas. He's He's very authentic when it comes to what he does for Christmas. He has a one-track mind on what Christmas should be, what Christmas should look like, what you watch for Christmas, what you hear on Christmas, and that's what he thinks. And it's hard to get a guy like that to buy into change, if you will, right? So
Right.
like the LED lights are something brand new, obviously, that's been introduced to the world a few years back, and a lot of people are using those types of lights. Um, Tom, I gotta be honest with you. You throw up lights on Christmas, I don't give a shit what they look like as long as they're up.
Yeah.
I need decorations on Christmas. Like I love driving up and down a block. I love seeing just lights in any type of manner, whether they LED or the warm lights or they're colored or anything. If you make the effort to put up, then hey, you're contributing to the Christmas just
Spirit.
holiday, the Christmas spirit, and you're contributing to what makes me feel good about myself when I drive down that block and I go, man, there's 10 houses in a row that have lights on. Man, this must be a really like tight knit community because everyone's got lights off. They all participate in the Christmas spirit, like they're decorating their house. It's great. To be hypercritical on LED lights inside your house is a little much, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
You
So
think?
yeah, yeah, I think might need to seek out
Just
fresh.
relax a little bit, dude. Like
Uh,
it's, hey, I went out, I got the lights, I got them all strung up, the effort is there.
yeah,
Just all you got to do is say I love it. Or you got to like just you could even just like it. You know what I mean? Just hit the thumbs up. You don't even have to say anything. If I was coming into your house trying to sell you LED lights, I could see you saying, "Hey, I'm not into LED lights." But like, why so upset? Why so angry? This is supposed to be a joyful season. You're supposed to be the ambassador of that. I'm sending this to you, and you just shit all over it. Get out of here. Dumb,
yeah.
dumb. All right, Timmy, that's going to bring me to our next subject, and that is actually on the color of lights. Timmy, what do you like, the white or the colored lights?
Well, Tom, you saw my post probably on the handle this weekend. I was able to get out there and decorate on Saturday with the kids. It was a nice warm day. And I'm a big, soft, warm, white light guy.
Love
Like
that.
that's like it just is the essence of Christmas to me. I do understand the color, like the red, the white, like I get like the whole color scheme lights too as well. But for just a cleaner look to
Right.
me, I feel like the warm white lights really do the trick. They like it's just they're photogenic, right? They also, I mean, they
Classic.
pop. They pop. They're just like a classic feel to it. Uh,
Yes.
um, and they just when they come together, right? If you do it right, it just looks fantastic, man. It really does.
And the
Like,
house looked fantastic. I love the video that you put up, and it's like that's what it's all about. And it's not like we don't have the same color scheme, but I'm like I can enjoy the white lights, the soft, the clear, the
mm.
LED color, the old
Well,
descent. Well, oh sorry. I don't, you know what? I went out, I'm taking them down. Hopefully, hopefully Lord Christmas can forgive me. I hope I'm not on the naughty list now for putting up the LED
there's a lot of
lights.
coal in that chimney, baby.
Well, Tim, I love the white lights, and like you were saying, I kind of like a soft, like almost like a goldish yellowy type of light. If I were to choose, the color lights to me, I think are more because of my kid's age, and I feel like it's a little more fun, and he enjoys the colored looking lights and all this other stuff. So right now we are on the color lights. I think maybe as he's older, we will switch to white. The lights that I got, the part of the reason why I got the certain lights for my tree was because my wife wanted white lights, and my son wanted colored lights. So I got these LED lights where they have different options. You can do the color and you can do the white,
Yeah, yeah.
and we've been rotating every day to please both of them.
I will say I really appreciate what whoever is doing the lights these days. That when a bulb goes out, the entire strand doesn't go out. Like that. That used to be the biggest like fuck you. Like where you
Dumb.
would have to go through the entire strand. You plug in the lights and then you go through each bulb. You're like, all right, that one's dead, that one's out. And they give you like 2 or 3 like bulbs to
Right. To
replace.
replace.
And then you're like, oh, there it is. I found it. And like it would be great when you finally found that bulb and then you plug it in and then like the whole light strand would light up. You're like, oh, it'd be like, yes, I
Yeah.
got it. Like we don't have to throw away this whole goddamn strain. But Jesus, whoever figured that out, God bless you, because
Cheers to them. Not
yeah,
dumb.
not dumb. Yes.
We love the guy. That's like
Ferb,
a real
Ferb,
man of genius.
yeah,
Like, oh, see, you know what? I don't like
yeah,
it nowadays. It's like
yeah,
if one bulb's out, they should all be out. They should
yeah,
all be out. I don't like that. If one bulb goes out and the whole rest of them stay lit, that's not how it used to be.
yeah.
That's not how it used to be.
Ferb,
It should be. They should all be out.
I remember when we used to go through the strand, me and my dad, we just used to go through each one. Oh man, that was the greatest. No, it wasn't, dude. That's what Christmas is all about,
Yeah. Yeah. All the lights going out because of one bulb.
Uh,
All right, Timmy. So let's move on to the next thing. The next question is, it on top of the tree, the angel or the star? What are you putting on the top of your tree, Timmy?
well, this is a tradition that we've inherited from my mother. And obviously my mother has passed, but like you still have to honor it. And she was an angel on top of the tree at all times. So we are standard angel people here at the Schmidt household, and I'll carry on that tradition forever. It'll be an angel. I do like, look, if you look back through all the history of like cinema and like just photos, it's always the star. And I think that has a reference to the North Star, right? Like with the whole, if you go religious, like the whole story about Jesus and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's why
Jesus.
people
Jesus.
Jesus, if you will,
Sounds familiar.
he's the guy.
Hmm.
One of the guys up there.
Does that have anything to do with Christmas? Jesus? I don't know.
I believe he's it's his birthday sometime around.
You don't say.
20. Imagine if it was
Dumb.
like
No.
like imagine like I'm sure he knows, but like this dude, I mean, he's got the biggest holiday of all time surrounding his birthday.
I'll tell
It's
you what,
like
he ruined a lot of birthdays for a lot of people.
he
The
did.
people that are born on Christmas, I can see why they're not the biggest fan. Maybe they were the ones yelling "crucify him," if you know what I mean. It's fucking ruined my birthday. Like,
Like,
it's all about Jesus. I can't celebrate my birthday. It's all about Jesus.
You think Pontius Pilate was born December 18th?
I'm willing to bet if you check Pontius Pilate's birth date, it's right around Christmas, and he's always thinking it was always about him. Jesus Christ, we can't even celebrate my birthday.
Now everyone else celebrates his birthday. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
They had the reverse effect.
Yeah,
I want to
right.
put him down.
Yeah, no one will ever remember his birthday. He's an
my
LED.
friend.
Pontius Pilate's an LED light guy. I could tell. Timmy, I love that story with the angel on the tree. I think that's amazing. It almost makes me want to put an angel on my tree. But we've always been star people, but I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to that. Whatever, like we've been saying, the effort, as long as you're doing something to spread that Christmas spirit and you have your tradition. I will tell you this. I loved putting the ornaments on with my kid. I just thought like, and my wife, we were there and we're unpacking all the ornaments. And it's like, oh, you remember this one? And like, as years go by, I remember we had special ornaments when we were kids. There was like two crystal ornaments. I think it was like a heart and something else. And it was like whoever found the Christmas ornament, that was like, or the special ornaments, it was like a big deal. Everybody was trying to find that. Did you guys have anything like that growing up?
Not really like the ornaments. Like we used to roll those sons of bitches out. They were like, there's a lot of like cool ornaments that, like back in the day, like retro ornaments, right? Like that. Like my dad would have like just like boxes and boxes of ornaments, and it was just a lot of fun to just kind of filter through whatever it was, and we would just put on whatever. Yeah, they weren't like standard like balls. Like, oh yeah, like here's the red balls, here's the gold balls, and here's the silver balls. It was just like random shit that we would just throw on the on the tree. So I am more of a I love the like the whole thing about Christmas. I like getting the tree. I like putting it up, right? I'll put the lights on the tree, and then after that, I go ahead, paint it whichever way you want. Like, just go ahead and throw ornaments on. You guys decorate it. I'll buy it. I'll put it up. I'll set it up. I'll put the lights on the tree because I have specific taste in lights on the tree. I'm a white light guy.
Right.
So I put the lights on, and then I let whoever else wants to decorate just go ahead and have at it. So that's the way I do it. I'm not like a big ornament guy. Yeah, there's only a handful of ornaments like my mom's ornament I put up there, like stuff like that.
Yeah. But
Stuff
that's a
that's
special ornament. There you go.
yeah, stuff that's meaningful. But other than that, there's no really specific things that I like to put on there.
All right, Timmy. So we had an interesting thing happen last week. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Elf on a Shelf and all that they do. The elf, it is this little doll that you put out for your kid, and then comes on the
Hey,
first day of Christmas, and you move them around every night. The kids come downstairs, they see that he's moved. They're supposed to watch you and report back to Santa, and blah 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 blah.
wait, what's it called?
Elf on a Shelf.
Got to write this down.
So we had the Elf on a Shelf. And for the first time, and I want to say this is the third year we've been doing Elf on a Shelf, we had the elf in a certain spot. Mickey comes downstairs the next day for breakfast, and the elf did not move, which led to a lot of questions. Why didn't the elf move? He didn't go, blah. You think he went to the center? He did blah, 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 blah. So we're saying, maybe he just didn't move today, or maybe he's stuck. I don't know. Then we had to set up the elf moving, but he was in a vase with flowers, sitting in the flowers. And then I took him out of the flowers while Mickey was at school, wrapped him up in some of the flower vines, and made it look like maybe he had gotten stuck by the way he comes. So we played it off that he had gotten stuck in the flowers. The Elf on a Shelf thing is pretty cool, but sometimes it's also a pain in the ass. Are you shelving it with the elf, or what's going on with you and the Elf on a Shelf? Have you had this
Uh,
experience?
of course, yeah. Well, Tom, I have lived in two different spots over the course of the last 10 years. The first spot where the elf on the shelf really took place was at my apartment, and we had the elf there named by my children, Winter Winter Sparkle Sauce.
That's a great name. I like
Yeah,
winter sparkle sauce.
and his or her brother is named Winter, who was the original elf that was at my parents' house. So they have two elves, and we've been doing Elf on the Shelf for quite some time. Uh, I mean, I don't place the elves anywhere. They move on their own, Tom. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Ah, yes, right.
So I mean, apparently your elves don't have any magic anymore since you've touched them.
Yeah, we got a malfunctioning elf.
You got a disabled elf.
Disabled health.
But yeah, so I dude, my daughters are so into Christmas and it's the greatest thing ever. And I love it because it's just so authentic. And like when you see your daughters just buy in, I have two daughters, obviously, and they're just so into it. It's cool. So when my daughters came down this past weekend on Friday, it was the first time that they experienced the elves at my house, and they were using dental floss to. It seemed like they were repelling from the light fixtures in the living room, Tom, and you know these elves, they just get themselves into some precarious positions,
They do.
and it looked like one was almost on top of the other, almost getting carried, piggybacking, and yeah, they stayed there obviously throughout the night. And at one point, I saw my daughter come out of the bathroom, and this is where, like, if in my house, like going up the steps, like you can see like them hanging off the light fixture, they're right on the stairway. So my daughter comes out, youngest daughter Emma comes out of the bathroom, and I overhear her saying, like, talking to the elves, like, "Hey guys, like, you don't like, I don't want you to use dad's dental floss anymore. Like, yeah, like she's being like genuine, like that she
Yes.
really is like caring about like what they are going to do the next day. And like, hey, listen, like, I'm going to come up with an idea, right, to help you guys out. So we that night, my daughter Harper was named the student of the month up at her school. Congrats, Harper.
Yeah.
Um, and so I told her I'd take her out for a nice little gift, and we went to Target. So we're walking around Target with my daughters. It's my girlfriend, myself, and my two daughters. And dude, we turned the corner like in the toy section, and there is a whole end cap of like Elf on the Shelf like toys, dude,
On the shelf? Like for sale?
for sale.
Oh my gosh. That's got to be a strictly online sale. You can't have those at the store like, oh, look, you can just buy an elf, like elf on a shelf, like giveaway. Hello.
Yeah, so I'm like a little nervous about it, and I'm like trying to usher them by, and I said, like, look, each of you guys can get a toy. And my daughter Emma, who was talking to the elves earlier, sees the Elf on the Shelf like end cap, and she's like, Dad, check this out. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what am I supposed to, like, you could just buy these elves? Like, I don't
So
even
were
know
they
how to.
asking you like, wait, how can you just buy the elf? Like, did
No,
any
no,
okay,
no. So, which is like great, because I think this is a
dodged a
testament to
bullet
like
there.
how much they're into it. So she turns to me, and there's like this like there's this set. It's a There's just toys, like different outfits for the elves and all this other stuff. And she turns to me and she's like, Dad, we could do this. Like, we could buy this stuff for our elves for winter sparkle sauce in winter, so they don't like mess with any of your stuff. Like, we'll just leave it out for them,
Oh wow.
and they'll be able to like look at this. This is really cool. Like, this is they have like a candy cane like grappling hook, and like it's like GI Joe toys, like shit that we used to play with, but it's like designed for the elves.
Wow.
So I'm like, is that the gift that you want? Like, do you want to get a gift for the elves? And she's like, hey, absolutely. So I'm like, dude, we bought that, and we go home, and my daughter Emma, like, she takes it out of the box, she like sets it up on like the breakfast room table, like it's a whole thing. And of course the elves took advantage of the toy set. They
Ah,
just
you
went,
have some good elves. Mine,
they were
I'd have to move them.
no, no, they just got crazy with it, Tom. And man, Good thing that they had all the toys that they did, because yeah, they would have been bored. Probably would have got into some other, yeah, chicanery, if you will. Oh,
Yeah.
word of the week.
Word of the week, chicanery. And I'm glad that you were able to buy that stuff because I can't imagine the Elf on a Shelf people are making enough money off of these things, and it's nice to give a little bit more to the elf on it to the elves, I guess I would say. They need it, and they're certainly not trying to gouge you for whatever they can.
They're
God
they're
bless
co-
them.
they're cornering the market,
They're cornering the shelf.
the elf market, the shelf, the shelf market.
All right, Timmy. We're going to move on from the elf on a shelf from Christmas just for a little bit. We'll be getting back to that in a moment. And we want to talk about something that we'd been discussing earlier today while at the bar. And there's a story, and if I could shorten the story for you real quick. You were out to have some drinks. There was a lady there, and the conversation came up about a thing called whiskey dick. And for the listeners not familiar with this term, we
Wow.
weren't positive of what the definition was, whiskey dick. And I always thought whiskey dick was basically erectile dysfunction. You have too much to drink and you can't get it up, right? And you thought whiskey dick was you had too much to drink. You could get it up, but you just couldn't finish, I guess is the best way I would say it, right? So
Correct.
we looked up the definition of whiskey dick, and it says kind of more along the lines of what I was saying, where you couldn't get it up. And me and you proudly claimed, well, we've never had that problem, right, Timmy? So
uh,
that's the definition. One. Two, you had a lady there then claim that she suffered from whiskey dick. And I guess the female version, and there were several different terms for that. One I like to call parched puss, I think was the one that I coined. I think we looked up a couple, and I don't know I don't have the list in front of me, but they were pretty funny.
Liquor lips was the other
Liquor
one.
lips.
Tell you what,
And
Tom, we've
excuse my
trained.
language, I'm going to say the one that just rung it just rung a bell with me. Good old cotton twat. So the opposite of the whiskey dick for a man would be,
uh,
you know, I guess a dry
any of
area.
those three,
Any
any
of
of
those three.
those.
You choose. Those are the top three right now.
Well, we've
So
really
then
made
we
it.
were
We
trying to
made.
come up with a new term for what you were saying, and I'm now aware of what you were saying for when you've had too much to drink.
Yeah,
You're getting a little intimate with your lover, and it just seems to go and go and go and go, and you never actually go, right?
climax.
You
Yeah,
never finish.
yeah.
And a term for that, the homework then after leaving that conversation was to come up with to coin a term, to get a phrase, and me and you were going to introduce our phrase to the audience, to the world. Timmy, would you like to start, or would you like me to start with my
You could start, Tom. I just think it's pretty. I mean, you are really good at your job to be able to transition from the elf on the shelf to this topic.
from elf on a shelf to cotton twat? Schmidt Lavelle, we cover it all. Happy holidays. So,
uh,
Timmy, and this is for our listeners, this is new territory for us. We usually try to keep it away from the vulgar stuff, but hey, whatever, it's a little bit of fun. The phrase I came up with two, but the one I think I'm going to go with, 'tis the holiday season, and I'm going to call it the nutcracker. The nutcracker, you can't nut.
well, then it would be the opposite of the Nutcracker, wouldn't it?
Well, it's a crack. It cracks. You can. It's broken. Nutcracker. I don't know.
See, I disagree. I went with something that I guess is something that a lot of men have experienced in their past. Um, and it's a play on words, Tom. A lot of men have heard of this term, blue balls,
Right. Yes.
which could be defined as
Oh, I
a
think I know where you're
situ-
going.
a situation where, hey, like maybe your girlfriend decides to turn over, or your wife turns over and doesn't decide to pay any attention.
Yeah. You're
Tom,
fired up, you're ready to go, and just there ain't no
there's
go.
no action. Um, the term that I've come up with, Tom, is the booze balls.
Ah, I thought you were gonna say brew balls, like a brew.
No, no,
Booze balls.
yeah,
I
yes.
like that, Timmy.
Yeah. Sorry, babe. I got booze balls tonight. Ain't happening.
Ain't
It's not.
happening.
And honestly, she'd probably be
Thank
like,
God.
yeah, God, yeah, all right, you done then? We're good. We're good.
Good
So
night.
we're done here. All right,
Yeah.
let's move on.
Well, I'm glad we could clear up for that. And the definition of whiskey dick. Hopefully we all have a better understanding of what
Clarity,
that
Tom.
actually means. A little clarity.
Because I guess a lot of people are confused on this whole matter. Everyone
We
has a
were
different
definitely on
definition.
different, and I thought it was me and the one bartender thought it was one definition, and you and the other customer thought it was another definition. So
Yeah,
we cleared that up, you know? All right, Timmy.
I like Dr. Ruth being
Yeah. All right, Timmy. I want to get to this. I want to get to this what we have marked down as female presence. You had the story with your daughters and the elf on a shelf,
ah.
and you have a news story from this past weekend about maybe watching a little bit of TV.
Oh, dude, it was great. So Robbie the reindeer was this special, if anyone caught this on CBS. Cool special. It's about Rudolph's son, and he's introduced into the whole reindeer family and the Santa sleigh, the whole deal. But there's back-to-back specials on that, which was a cool little tune there. But like, look, the football games are going on at the same time. The conference championships. So I was watching some of them. My daughter Emma was watching Robbie the reindeer, and at 10 o'clock, that was over. Problem is, right afterwards, 48 Hours took place, which is a show on CBS about like hard hitting, like unsolved mysteries type shit.
Right.
And
Adult content.
yeah, and my daughter got stuck watching that, and I guess she didn't realize how to change the channel or what was going on, but she runs downstairs and says, "Dad, there's a terrible commercial on." I said, "What's going on?" She goes, "Well, it's about some robber that comes into the house and kills the daughter and the father with a shotgun." I was like,
Oh
"What
my
the
God.
hell is going on right now?" I'm thinking it's like a movie trailer. Like, so I run upstairs and I'm like, "Oh, it's not on anymore." And she goes into the room. She's like, "Dad, it's still going on." And I realize that it's 48 hours. It's like a 15-minute like
Oh
segment with like
my
testimonies, the
gosh.
whole thing. And I'm like, "Oh my God." And like I realized that, Tom, at this point,
That's on regular TV.
yeah, I mean, it's like, a network television show like that they talk about, it's
I feel like that
strange.
should be like, you
Yeah,
know,
they
not on
still
that.
well, it's on at 10 o'clock for a reason. So it falls
Yeah.
on me. But at the same time, like when you don't, my, the whole crux of the story is like I was very hard on my daughter because she was like shaken about what she saw. And I was like, hey, like, get
The
like,
world's a scary place.
well, that's what I said. Like there's bad people in the world. And like I said, I tried to give her a life lesson. Like, hey, like there's people out there that, like they just aren't nice people, and sometimes this stuff happens, and it's the real world, and like your dad's here to protect you, and like nothing's gonna happen. Like, Pop is here, and you're fine. But she was like still upset about it, and I felt awful because like I was like, was hard on her. I was like, look, it's time to go to bed. There's nothing to cry about. Like, go to bed, go to bed, go to bed, right? And she was still upset and still upset. And she was like scared. And I felt awful because I was so adamant about her getting to bed. Right. I'm like,
Yeah.
go to bed. Like it's
Well,
not
plus,
affecting you.
as a dad, when it's time for bedtime, nobody has more excuses than a
Right.
kid. So you're like, is this really her being like this, or is she just trying not to go to bed?
Right. So, but my point is not having a female presence, right, in the house kind of really affected really how I was treating my daughter, right? Like I think like
She would be like,
if I
you
had
know
like
what?
a
She's upset. You
yeah,
need to calm down. Here, let me talk to her.
sure.
Look, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I could see that.
Because I was treating her almost like a son, like relax,
Yeah,
like
being a pussy.
yeah, like suck it up, go to bed, like shut your face, like you know what I mean, like it would be better if I probably had a female in the house to be able to relate to her and say, hey, like I get what you're going through, but like at the end of the night, I laid next to her and I was like, I said, look, Emma, I'm so sorry. Like, understand you're sad, you're upset. I said, I'll lay here with you until you feel comfortable. And like she fell asleep like right away, which was great. But
Oh,
like it's
thank
still
God.
like a moment for you, like to realize, like, oh my God, I'm pressing this too hard.
Yeah. Well, Timmy, I would say that that was also a mistake on, I want to, what was it, CBS or whatever channel it was?
CBS, yeah.
To have Robbie the reindeer followed by 48 hours, like the murder investigation TV show following. It's almost as bad as having the elf on the shelf being followed by cotton candy. You know what I mean? Am I right?
Dude, hold
Oh,
on. Before you, so I think we have two more things to cover, and I really need to get to the one thing, which is the Henry Avenue signs. Is that still on
let's
your
go
list,
right
or
now. Henry Avenue signs. Yes, there's these signs all over Henry Avenue. They're selling furniture and bed, bedroom sets and all this other stuff.
I am not even obsessed. I'm just so confused as to what these signs are. Okay. And I sent this to you the other day, Tom. Do you have it in front of you?
I don't have it in front of me. I can pull it up in a second, but go ahead.
So the sign says new mattress set 50 to 80% off retail, only $25 down, no credit needed. And then there is a cell phone number attached to the sign.
267-270-2595. If you need a mattress set, call. 50 to 80% off retail, only $25 down, no
So
credit needed.
I'm wondering if number one, if anyone in the world has ever called that number. And Tom, I think you could probably flash this up like during our story here,
Yeah.
so people can see what I'm talking about. There's signs like this all over the place. I've seen them on telephone poles, like selling comics. Call this number.
Yes, I have seen the selling comics one.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I want to know what this racket is. Is it profitable? Like who?
Can we
I
get a
want to.
Schmidt Lavelle sign out there?
I need I needed to see who the person is that hammers his sign into like the sidewalk or into the island on Henry Avenue right outside of Seoul. Like who are these people that are doing this? I need to know what this whole racket is, dude. It's just an enigma to me. It's late right now, Tom. I really want to call this number and see what we get from it. Maybe we'll do it on a different.
Let's film it one day. Let's set it up. We'll sit down. We'll call speakerphone, record the whole thing, and we'll show the audience what the hell this is all about. Maybe we can call a couple different places and see what's going on.
It's crazy to me that this is a business like that people really invest in if it is any type of business whatsoever.
Well, Tim, maybe that's a number to your dad's helpline. That
I
little
think,
segue there, a little segue. You see what we did, Timmy? You had me write down Tim's dad helpline. What's that all about? A dad helpline?
well,
Is it your dad's helpline or a helpline specifically for dads?
No, it's my father who creates his own problems. Um and
Like
it's
the
not
missing soap.
yeah, but so what my dad does is that he likes to break things like his computer. And I think he makes it a point. I feel like he feels that he's alone during the day and he needs like some sort of stimulation. So when he wakes up, he gets on the computer, he breaks the computer, and then he calls the help desk line to figure out what he did wrong. So he gets on the phone with, you know, Pamola or, Henri for
Yeah.
like 2 hours, and they're like walking him through like how to fix his computer. And it's like nuts. So he gets on the phone, and
Those poor people.
the worst part about it is like he puts him on speakerphone and he's
Oh
like,
my God.
he goes, "Hey, hey, Joe, how you doing? Got a problem with my computer." And they're like, "Hi, Joe, how you doing? Can I get a good number to reach you back at?" And he's like, the number I'm calling on. And they're like, "Sir, can you, how about a valid email address for you?" And he's like, "Yeah,
I
use
don't
the
have email. Email's
he's
stupid.
yeah." And then it gets into like, then he starts going into these problems, and they're like, "Sir, we just sent you a text message to your phone. Please click on the link." And he's like, What are you talking about?" Like, then he checks his phone, and then like his like ID for his password isn't working, and it's like facial and it just turns into a whole thing. I swear to God, the people that are on the other end of these help desk lines are like, they're like, "Yeah, it's Joe Schmidt again, Philadelphia. Yeah, 43-45. Let's draw straws because I had him last week. It's up to it's
Yeah.
up to you now. Like we're done. We're done with it,
Yeah.
dude. We're
I'm
not
out.
dealing with this
I'm
guy
not doing
anymore."
this guy. Block him.
Like I was on with him for an hour and a half. He was asking me about Vietnam, and he's he's he literally creates problems, I think, just to talk to 1-800 help desk numbers. That's what I think he does. That's what he does. He fills 8 hours in with just talking to like troubleshooting people, like for every various like device that he has, his printer, his cell phone, his computer.
He's a
Like,
troubleshooter.
yeah, that's it. He orders stuff online, and he's like, "Yeah, I ordered this 2 weeks ago and it's still not here." And I'm like, "Sorry, it was delivered last week." And he's like, "What? Where?"
Tell me where it is. Well, sir, did you check your front porch? Let me go check. No, it's not there. Well, sir, did you check your basement? Hold on. You're gonna help me get through this here real quick. They're
Yeah,
helping him look through the house. They've
it's
never
like,
been in.
bro, we'll send a service tech out. What?
Yeah.
For what? Just to look for packages?
Oh my gosh. Timmy, your dad's a troubleshooter, and I love it. That's old school stuff. That's just the old school way. Maybe one day we'll be help lining it up ourselves. All right, Tim. Now it's time. It's time for what the moment everyone's been waiting for. 'Tis the Christmas season, and we will be compiling the greatest list, top 10 list of Christmas movies all time. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to be naming, and I think we start with our top five. We see where we're at after we've each named our top five, and then we have to come up with, if we have five different movies each, then so be it. Then that's our 10. If we have some movies that are the same, then we will start to figure out where our next movies will be, maybe debate a little bit on it, agree on it. We will come to our top 10 list, Christmas movies all time. Timmy, let's get it started. And I would say let's start with your number one. Do you want to start, or would you like me to start?
You can start.
All right. I'm going to start with my number one Christmas movie of all time. This is for me. I am going to say It's a Wonderful Life, It's my favorite Christmas movie of all time. It wasn't necessarily when I was a kid, but now as I've gotten older, as life has gone on, that movie is incredible. It stands the test of time. I will say this, I do enjoy the color version of It's a Wonderful Life more than the black and white version. I don't know why, but I just do. I enjoy it. I watch it every year, brings a tear to my eye. Cheers to my brother George, the richest man in town. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. It's an incredible movie. If you haven't seen It's a Wonderful Life, that is Christmas. That is life. All-time movie. One of my
Oh,
favorites.
Clarence.
Well, well,
It's
well, 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 hold on a second there, Mr. Potter. My father built this town. Hey, you're not going to just throw these people out of their houses.
it is also, Tom, my number one. You know what? It took years and years for me to really kind of adopt this movie as one of my top movies, but um it is the essence of Christmas, Tom. The end of that movie, if you don't cry,
There's something
you
wrong with you.
are, yeah, you have no heart. It just, when the whole town comes together, and
Yeah.
like, it's just, one person after the next, and it's just the essence of Christmas, like I said.
And
um
life. It's just a great,
yeah,
great movie.
yeah. And a friend of mine, who I used to work with, uh he is one of the best. His dad just recently passed, but he was a huge proponent of this movie, and this was like a movie that he watched almost like daily when Christmas time came around. And he used to preach to me all the time. He's like, dude, I'm telling you, this movie is the greatest. He's like, I don't, anytime it comes on, I do not miss it. It's incredible. But yeah, it's one of the best movies.
It really is. And I think it's something that, comes with age. You start to enjoy it and appreciate it more. And I can't say enough about this movie. If you haven't seen it, I find time every year to sit down and watch this movie, start to finish. Usually I try to wait a little bit closer to Christmas, and then I sit down, I watch. It just gets you it just gets you right in the feels. All right, let's keep this moving. Timmy, I'm going to let you go. I want you to name your number two Christmas movie of all time.
All right, my number two movie, Christmas all time. I was debating this a lot, but it's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Ooh, the claymation classic.
Yes. And the reason why I do that is because it has been introduced to so many children when they were so young. And it's been a mainstay for years and years. It's been passed down from father to daughter to father to son to their kids. And it's never, ever, ever going to change. The Island of Misfits. There's so many good, like, just storylines and life lessons in that movie. I want to be a dentist,
Yeah,
right? Like Herbie the dentist, right?
Herbie
Like,
the dentist.
he's supposed to be an elf, but guess what? He doesn't want to be an elf, right? He just wants to be a dentist, right? And then at
Yeah.
the end of the
Nobody
movie,
wants a Charlie in the box.
nobody wants a Charlie in the box. Nobody wants a train with square wheels. It's just such a great movie. Life lessons. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, obviously the biggest one there. He's
And a
the little,
classic song to go along with it. Everyone
yeah,
knows Rudolph the Red-Nosed
yep.
Reindeer. It's a classic. That's one that we would watch every single year on Christmas Eve. We had the VHS, and it was like we're very excited for Christmas. Let's
Yep.
throw it on. I love it. One of my favorites of all time. Tim, I'm going to throw out a movie now here too. Now, that was my fourth. That was my number four movie, Christmas of
Okay.
all time. So you had it at two, I had it at four, but both in our top five. My number three Christmas of movie of all time, and this might be kind of maybe more of our age bracket this is so high up for me, but this was my number two movie of all time. I'm sorry, but it's the third one we're naming. I'm going with Home Alone. I love Home Alone. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I was the same age as Kevin McAllister. He's out there doing his thing. I dreamed of it. We all were kids setting traps like that and thinking about how cool that was. Just a classic movie, star studded. You can't, kids love it now. They love it then. It's the greatest movie. It's incredible. It is Christmas. I love that movie every year. Home Alone, that was my number two Christmas movie of all time, and the third one we've named. Timmy, is that in your top five?
It is in my top five. I had it as my number one and two. And look, I had some influence on my list today after you left. And Mr. Jeff Fergus had some influence over my list.
Oh, this mother. That's fine. I know where his
So
is. I know where he stands.
so Home Alone, I grouped them together, one and two, because they're very similar movies. And I think they are two of the greatest Christmas movies of all time. I had it very, very top of the top because it was a fabric of my childhood. Me and my cousin Brendan used to watch these movies every time we visited each other's houses. Like it was ridiculous. Like we would talk about like when Marv got electrocuted in the basement in Home Alone 2, and he's like,
Yeah.
turns into
Sparks
this
flying everywhere. Yeah. Yes.
like, dude, it has so many good parts. It's just
Keep the
such,
change, you filthy animal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I
Look
mean,
what you did, you little jerk.
yeah,
You're what the
yeah,
French call les incompetents.
yeah. Um, and it's so quotable, but yeah, it's my number four movie. And again, it's it's Home Alone 1 and 2 because they both were like sequels usually don't live up to the original, but
Wow.
Home Alone 1 and 2 were fantastic.
Yes. Lived up to it, and there was a ton of hype on that movie, and Home Alone 2 lived up to it. So, Timmy, we're going to have to decide on that. We can get to that later where we rank them,
So
because
then
you
I'll
have
just,
Rudolph at number two, and I had
yep,
it at number four, and then I
yep,
had Home Alone at number two, and you had it at number four.
yeah. So
Would you
the
have Rudolph ahead of Home Alone or
I just think Rudolph's such a
classic?
classic. You got to keep it at two.
Okay. That's fine with me. All right. Timmy, why don't
The
you
next
give us your next movie?
the next movie, and this is heavily influenced by Jeff Fergus.
Oh, I know what it is already. I know what
And
it is already.
I don't even if I had it, if I had my druthers, if this was my list, it wouldn't even be on my top 10.
Well, hold on a second then. Well, what are we doing here? This is our list. You know what?
I
He's going to shit all over my LED lights and then come in here and influence Schmidt Lavelle's list?
But listen, I do recognize it as a classic, and that is A Christmas Story.
Okay.
It's a
Uh,
classic. It deserves to be in the top 10.
I
I
agree. It
don't.
deserves to be in the top 10.
I just. I did not have it on my top 10 because I just hate how they force feed it. I like the
Mhm.
movie. I love the movie. I just hate how they force feed it. Like, dude, if you're gonna force feed me a movie, force feed me It's a Wonderful Life for 24 hours.
Right.
I'll watch that over and over again. Like Christmas Story, I just like get so tired of it. And honestly, there's a lot of redheaded bullying in it that I don't like.
Ah, yes. True.
Yeah,
And classic that they would make him the bad guy, and
yeah,
it's
the
just
ginger.
that's that we've talked about that on previous episodes that almost the redheads are treated a certain way because they are redheads, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they've been portrayed as bullies and bad guys throughout cinematic history, really. A lot
Sure.
of times we've seen that be the
Yep.
case.
Yep.
But Christmas Story, I love that movie. Also very quotable, a lot of classic scenes from that movie, and
You'll
a
shoot
great
your eye
movie.
out.
Yeah, and definitely top 10 worthy. I had that ranked as my, and it was like, once you start getting down to the nitty gritty and you're getting close to who's going to fall out of your own top 10. So I had that up a little bit higher, a little further back. Love that movie though. All right, Timmy, I'm going to give you my next movie. And this is a classic. This is an incredible movie, an incredible story. It's been redone a million times. And I'm going to go with the Charles Dickens classic, A Christmas Carol. I'm going specifically with the 1970 Scrooge with Albert Finney. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me. Now, that's the one I grew up watching. I was between that and the Muppets Christmas Carol and also Mickey Mouse Christmas
Ah,
Carol. Very good. Now, Mickey Mouse though is a short. It's like a show.
yes.
It's like 30 minutes. It's not really a movie.
Well, here's the thing, Tom.
Scrooge with Albert Finney, 1970. That is my number 3 Christmas movie. But if we could we put like the Christmas Carol, like them all? Can we combine them and say this story?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Because they're all
It's old.
great.
It's old Fezziwig.
And just Tiny Tim and Bob
Mm,
Cratchit and Scrooge and the whole
yeah,
thing is
yeah,
just
yeah.
it's a classic, classic, classic
So
Christmas story.
the
I would
the
say that's higher than A Christmas Story. And like you got to agree with me there, Timmy. Can we bump that down a little bit
we
and
could,
put
yeah.
this up there?
I look. I would bump it all the way down to 10 if I were you. But
We might.
I I have listed right here, Tom, as my number 5 movie, Mickey's Christmas Carol. And
Love it.
the reason why I have that there is because that was my first introduction to the Christmas Carol story. Um, I remember it when I was a kid. I thought that movie was like an hour and like 45 minutes long.
Yes, me too. When I rewatched it like 2 years ago, I was like, what? This has been 15 minutes and we're at the end? What?
Yeah,
I thought this
it's
was
like a
like a full cinematic
yeah,
classic.
it's like 25 minutes. You're like, what?
Yes.
Like that all that happened in 25 minutes? Like I
That's
could
why
have
I'm like, can this be
sworn.
a movie? It's a short movie.
Yeah,
It's a short film.
yeah, but like it's great because it has like Mickey's Bob Cratchit and then like Goofy is Jacob Marley. And he's like
Yes,
then he's
yes.
then he knocks on the doorknob and like Jacob Marley, Goofy's face.
It's great. And then who's the like, the big guy? It's always the classic bad guy. And the
With the
giant is
cigar.
yeah, the
Yeah.
giant is the ghost of Christmas present. And
Yeah.
then, you have it's just it's all it's incredible. It's a great movie. The story, Charles Dickens, Christmas Carol is just an incredible story. But my I love Scrooge. We grew up watching that. I just think it's a
Well,
great one.
the
And the Muppets
story,
one's really good too with Michael Caine is also, and then you have,
the
Kermit is
story,
Bob Cratchit.
the story of the Christmas Carol again is it harkens back to what Christmas is all about, right? Like it's the season of giving, right?
Right.
And family and all that stuff. And that's why it pulls on the heartstrings a little bit. And it just it's a tale as old as time, Tom, if
Yeah.
you if you
Yes.
will.
I love
so
it. So
so
let's move on, Timmy. You give us our next movie. Right now we have It's a Wonderful Life, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Home Alone, Christmas Story, and A Christmas Carol, Scrooge, whatever you'd like to call it.
all right. So Tom, this is where I started getting into some trouble here because those are my favorite movies, the top 5 that I gave you already.
Okay. And we have a very similar list, which is good. Now we're gonna,
The
I think, come down to it.
the issue here with me is that I have the rest of my 5 versus what I was talked into. What do you want?
I
What do
don't
you
want
want?
what you were talking to. This is
All right.
Schmidt and Lavelle. This isn't Fergus and Lavelle.
All right.
Okay.
So number 6.
I'm upset with him right now, so I'm not going to be.
Number 6 for me is going to be Trading Places.
Whoa. Trading Places. Timmy, we've had this argument here about a movie called uh Die Hard.
Yes.
Is Trading Places a Christmas movie? Does it encompass
So
the spirit of Christmas?
this is the discussion that we've had, your boy and myself. And I have a list of five. Okay. All right. So let me just do this real quick. I have a list of five movies
Right.
that are in the same vein. Okay. And those five movies that are in my top 10 that are not necessarily Christmas movies, but have Christmas ties. Number one, Trading Places. Number two, Die Hard. Number three, Dutch. Number four,
Dutch.
number four, The Ref.
Oh my
And
God.
number five, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Thought that was a Thanksgiving movie.
What?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
That's what people say. It's because it's played on Thanksgiving all the time, but it's actually the it's 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 geared towards Christmas.
Timmy, not since the Smarties take have I heard of a more awful Christmas list. I mean, that is just, first of all, The Ref. I mean, it's a good movie, but I mean, a top 10 Christmas of all time. You realize what you're passing up to put The Ref on the list?
Well, what do you got? Elf? Do you love Elf? You a big
Okay, here
Elf
we
guy?
go. My next one was The Grinch. The Grinch, it's a classic all-time Christmas movie. The story of the Grinch, the bah humbug, the guy that doesn't like Christmas, realizing the error of his ways and what Christmas should be. Classic songs, classic cartoon, Dr. Seuss remakes. The Grinch. That's what I have
Well,
going up on
so
my
I
list.
had that as my number 10, Grinch.
Okay. Well, so
What's
what are we gonna do here now? This is where
No, I said so those five were not Christmas, like not, they're just
we should have
movies
done a
that
list of top five. Like those could be on the top five not Christmas movies.
right.
You know what I mean? And Die Hard would
Yes.
be at the top. You got
Yeah.
Trading Places, Die
Perfect.
Hard, boom, boom, boom. So let's okay. I think you know what? I'll give Jeffrey credit. I think he was on to something. I think we have to eliminate that list. Honorable mentions, those are our top five not Christmas movies, if that
Well,
makes sense.
I mean, that's not a definitive top five, but
Well,
it's
I
just
would say the Batman
Batman Returns.
yeah,
It's not a bad movie.
yeah. That should be up there. That's technically one of those.
All right. So the other movie, the next movie is Christmas Vacation.
Yes. Oh my God, yeah, of course. That's totally on our list right there.
That's
That
that
that's above
I got that at number six.
okay. That's where I had it. Number 6, and that's where it will stay.
Number seven, I have the Santa Claus.
Timmy, believe it or not, at number 7 for me was the Santa Claus.
Here we go.
I
We're on
almost put
fire.
it above Christmas Vacation. I love the Santa Claus, but Christmas Vacation, I think more so is widely is loved a little bit more than the Santa Claus. So that was for the people. If I were going to go for myself, I personally like the Santa Claus better than Christmas Vacation. But I like both. So I just think that when we talk about Christmas Vacation, it's just not as good, I don't think. Not a huge Chevy Chase guy. All
What
right.
do you got?
So right now we got It's a Wonderful Life, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Home Alone, Christmas Story, Christmas Carol, Christmas Vacation, the Santa Claus. I did throw out Grinch. I feel like that can be in the, but let's keep going because the Grinch is falling a little bit for me. I don't think Grinch should be above Christmas Vacation or the Santa Claus.
Yeah. What's your next one?
So
What do you have
number
on your list?
8. All right. So we had the Santa Claus. I already had that. Okay. See, now this is where people might start to, it's a fairly new movie, but I loved it. One of my favorites.
Don't say
And
that.
I'm gonna say Christmas Chronicles. I like the Christmas Chronicles. I like um Kurt Russell. I thought it was a excellent movie. It gets you in the feels. It's
Yeah.
a
So
good wholesome movie.
it's Big Trouble Little China in a Santa suit.
Yeah, so you're not a fan of the Christmas Chronicles. Is that what you're saying?
It's not on my top 10, Tom.
Okay. I loved it. Big Trouble Little China. Just because he played that guy doesn't mean that every movie he's in from that point on, he's that character, but as
It's an
Santa.
escape from LA with a Santa suit on.
It's not, no, it's not. Nothing like that. Well, let's just say it. We have that in there. We're gonna have to eliminate some. Why don't we start naming some other movies? So I said Christmas Chronicles.
It's
We have the Grinch up
backdraft.
there.
It's backdraft with a Santa suit on.
Oh man. Timmy,
He's
let me
got a
hear.
red suit on,
Yeah. You go. We go.
Great movie, dude.
It is Backdraft's a classic.
All right. So in my top 10, I have Frosty the Snowman.
Ooh. Another classic.
Yeah. I know I'm going back and forth between real movie and cartoon, but like it's necessary because these things are fabrics of our childhood, Tom. These are
Right.
things that
Frosty the
really
Snowman's depressing though.
it
The
is.
motherfucker melts. All right. I mean, I love Elf. I'm going to throw Elf in the mix. I do think it's a great movie. I enjoy it. It's, I think, running into a little bit of trouble. Another one similar to A Christmas Story, a little played out, but I think it's a very enjoyable, good movie. Spreads the Christmas cheer. A lot of quotable lines in that movie. I'm going to throw Elf on that list. And I would say, as of right now, our 8, 9, and 10 are still up in the air. We have Grinch, Christmas Chronicles, Frosty the Snowman, Elf. Timmy, let me hear another one.
All right. I have Reindeer Games.
Mm.
I'm just kidding. I'm
Yeah.
just my last movie that has cracked the top 10. As a comedian, you don't really see all that often anymore, Tom. He had some classics there in the late 80s and early 90s, and this is one of them, Tom. And it's Scrooged.
Scrooged. A classic, a great movie. Just an adult, like, I love it. It's a good movie. That's one that I need to rewatch because I've seen it when I was younger, and I didn't love it when I was younger because I think I was a little too young for it, right? And then I saw it a little bit when I was like a little bit older, but I don't think enough to appreciate. I think now is the time for me to go watch Scrooged to truly enjoy it. I don't think that's gonna top my crack my top 10. So let me just run down. There's a couple more I'm just going to throw out there. White Christmas. I'm a huge fan of White Christmas. Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye. Miracle on 34th Street. That's a classic. And I love Miracle on 34th Street. And my last one, a fairly new, just came out last year. Love this movie. Great soundtrack. The same guys that brought you The Greatest Showman, the movie Spirited, with Will Ferrell, Ryan Reynolds,
Never saw it.
Tracy Morgan. Timmy, it's fairly new. I love it. I love the soundtrack, but I would say go check that one out. But as of right now, we have to decide. And we've got one, two, three, four, five. We've got 5 movies in 3 spots, 6 movies in 3 spots. Scrooged, Miracle on 34th Street, Christmas Chronicles, Frosty the Snowman, and Elf. I think Frosty the Snowman has to be on there.
Frosty's in. I think
Frosty's
Elf.
in.
You can put Elf in there. I'll let it slide.
Elf in there. Wait, did I say Grinch? I didn't say Grinch.
The Grinch has got to be in there.
Grinch is in there. Well, then we have our choice. We've got It's a Wonderful Life, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Home Alone, Christmas Story, Christmas Carol, Christmas Vacation, The Santa Claus, Grinch, Frosty the Snowman, and Elf at number 10. What do you think, Timmy? You like that
Uh,
list?
I love it. It's a great list, Tom. It's hard work by me and you that we really filtered through some of this shit that's out there, the minutia,
Minutia.
if you will, if
We
you will.
did. And to give you guys the best list available. Timmy, our last two topics, we're going to hit these ones. We're going to hit them quick. Tough loss this past week by the Philadelphia Eagles to the 49ers. A game that we got our asses kicked. Bottom line, we got our asses kicked. They were the better team. They beat the shit out of us. What else can you say? We have a huge game coming up. We signed a linebacker from the Colts that was released, former second round pick, 3-time All Pro. I'm hoping, and I read something today, and I think it's the correct thing. It's not so much is he going to be like a great is the question is he better than the linebackers we had? And I think yes, it's an upgrade. It'll help us. We have all the talent in the world on this team. We can still turn it around. We have a very tough game this weekend. Dallas has not lost at home since their first game at home last season. So that's going to be, I think, 14 wins in a row at home. They're firing on all cylinders. They're also coming off a 10-day bye. If we come out and we dominate Dallas, it will make me feel a lot better. There's a lot of questions about this team. What I'm trying to do right now is stay positive. We have the ability to be the best team in the league. We're right up there. We got to put it all together. Tim, I don't know what else to say. You go ahead.
Oh, first of all, we don't have the ability. We have been the best team in the league for the entire year. The the issue here is the defense. Um, third down defense, we're last in the league. Red zone defense, we're 29th, which is at the bottom of the league. They have to be better on defense. They have to get stops. You can't give an offensively minded team with that much firepower, 6 drives in a row with touchdowns. You cannot recover from that. And then when you get in the red zone, you need to score. Look, this team is going through the biggest stretch, the toughest stretch in their schedule. They played the Dolphins, they played the Chiefs, they played
The Bills, the
the
Cowboys.
Bills, and now they're going to play the Cowboys. They just played. It's just one thing after another, and some of these games have come off. You know, the other team's getting 10 days rest, and it's just a tough stretch. And for the Eagles to be where they're at right now is impressive, right? No one in the beginning of this season had them at 4-1 going through this stretch. They have 2 more games to get out of it. They have Dallas this week on the road. It's going to be a tough game, but it's Dallas week, man. It's time to turn the page. Like the biggest thing for the players, and I'll tell you what's going on in this locker room, is that they go, hey, we lost this game. It's one game. We're still in the number 1 seed. It means nothing. We control our own destiny. We win out. We get that 1 seed. We get that bye. All we have to do is win 2 games and get to the Super Bowl. That's it. That's their mindset. That's the way they're thinking. And if the coach isn't preaching that, then he's an idiot, because that's the way you got to think about it. You have 5 games left. Win all 5. You control your own destiny.
Yep. And this is I think something that I'm hoping that we're going to look back on this loss and say this was the turning point to where we started playing our best football, because we haven't done it yet. And if we do play our best football, we're going to be the best team in the NFL. I truly believe we can be the best team in the NFL. We just have to go out there and execute. So they didn't do it this past week. Tough, because they were playing a team that just came off a mini bye. And yet again, we're playing probably if you're going to rank us, the 49ers and the Cowboys, were the top 3 teams in the NFC, Detroit right there as well. but we're going to play two of the top three teams in the NFC back to back, both coming off mini buys. Oh, thanks, League. Thank you so much for that schedule. That's incredible. And we'll just throw that in between a Kansas City, a Buffalo Bills, and a Seattle game, too. NBD, no big deal. Eagles can handle it. So thanks so much to the league for that. Hopefully we can come out and deliver this week. I would love to go into Dallas and shove it right down their fucking throats.
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. We'll be tuning into the game this week. Last thing before we go, we know we've had a jam-packed episode for you. The college football playoffs. A lot of talk about that. And Florida State, Timmy, what are your thoughts on that whole situation?
Just a mess. Look, Florida State Power Five conference. They win out. They win their conference title. They beat Louisville without their starting quarterback. They should be in. They should be in the playoff. It's a shame because those kids that are on that team, they're told a certain thing like, hey, listen, you're at a Power Five conference. You'll be able to play for the championship, all this other stuff. You get to play for the title. And they took care of business and they did what they did. And the biggest thing is that you're blaming the quarterback for getting hurt, essentially, for keeping them out of the playoffs, which sucks, right? Like that sucks for the quarterback, right?
Yeah, don't you think he feels bad enough that he's not going to be able to play and that he's injured and he's had this Heisman season and then now it's like, oh, by the way, you're the reason your team's not in the like. That's fucked up. That sucks.
It's trash. And like I would love to say, like, hey man, like, college athletics, like there's morals to it, but there isn't anymore because it's the NIL, it's a business, and it's always been a business. And they see dollars and cents, and they saw that the matchups between FSU and whoever they would have played wouldn't have drawn as much as any of the other guys that got in, like Alabama, right? Like Alabama is a staple in the playoffs, and they need that cash cow that is Alabama, and it sucks. It really sucks. They're extending the playoff next year to 12 teams, and this won't happen again where teams that deserve it will be left out. But it's a gut wrenching shot for Florida State, whose players overcame injury to go out and win the title, the ACC title, without their starting quarterback, and their defense was dominant. It's not like they couldn't compete. They probably could compete, but the committee felt otherwise. So it's a shame that they got bounced out of the playoffs. But we probably have the four best teams that'll be competitive, that are vying for the titles.
Yeah. And I would say to Florida State, if you want to really shove it down their throats, go out there and beat the shit out of Georgia. If they go out there and they take care of Georgia, they really have an argument and they can shove that, they can put that all in the national
that
media.
is a fact. If they beat Georgia, that would be insane.
Yeah. And they would really have a true argument. We should be the number one team in the country. But also, fuck Florida State. I never liked them anyways. But I do feel like, you know what? When I think about the kids and the kids that have put in the work and the coaching staff and everyone that has done all this work all year,
Who gives a shit? They're all getting paid anyway. Who gives a fuck?
I would say though, I can empathize with that, but I've never ever been a Florida State fan. I don't like them. I'm not going to pretend to like them. Never have, never will. Ever since they screwed Notre Dame out of a national championship back in 1994 or something like that.
Let me guess. You love Notre Dame because you're Irish?
When I was a kid, sure. If I were to pick a team right now, I mean, Notre Dame's right up there, and then Penn State. Those are my two favorite teams. You don't like the movie Rudy? No, no. What's your number one football team, college?
I don't have one, Tom.
What is it, Lycoming? What's the name of it?
Damn, dude. Wesley is like crying in the ring. This is
We're going to cover that on Jabroni Drive coming up next. But before we do that, shout out to all the fans out there, everyone that's listening. We appreciate you. Thank you for sticking with us. We hope you enjoyed the show. Like we said, if you're not already doing that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're growing. We have over 400 followers now. Hopefully, we'll be at 500 soon. Tell your friends, tell your family. Schmidt Lavelle, the hottest growing podcast in all of podcasts. Timmy, anything you'd like to say to all the Schmidt Lavelleites out there before we sign off?
How long was this episode? 2 hours? Did we do
No.
a 2-hour Christmas special?
No, we should, but we didn't. I'm going to
What was I
say
gonna
it's
say?
going to be around a $1.15. That's my guess.
Tom, the only thing I have to say to those people out there that are listening, what would the world be without Captain James Hook?
Amen, Timmy. We love you. Until next week, check us out on all podcast platforms and YouTube. Schmidt and Lavelle. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you next time. Peace.